I am Jen Williams. I grew up in Waukesha, Wisconsin, and I actually grew up in this city, but horses are something that I've always been drawn to as long as I can remember. When I got my first horse, we had a lot of fun together. I learned a ton of things. Every time I had a sticky spot or a challenge, I would find a new instructor or somebody to learn from. And that process led me into horse training. I was going to want to stay home with my children and still keep my horse. So I started teaching some lessons on the one horse. The program grew so that I added horses. As you start getting more and more horses, it starts to make more sense to have your own place. So we opted for something that needed a little bit of work and we could put the sweat equity in ourselves. And I have a 6-acre farm just southwest of Oregon, Wisconsin. A couple years ago, as the kids and I were trying to find something to do over spring break, Calvin suggested that we go up to the UW-Madison and play with some clay and work on their wheels. And as everybody went back to college, I decided to go back up and keep playing with it. And I'm pretty much self-taught. I've asked people some questions and watched YouTube. It sounds kind of ridiculous to say it that way, but it is what it is. And we just keep experimenting. Clay is something that has seemingly infinite possibilities at this point on what to do, what to make, how to shape, decorating, all of the things. I have my very first horse is still here. She's 29 years old and she is an American paint horse. And her offspring then are also American paint horses. So I enjoy my paint horses. And so we are Paint Horse Pottery. So the interesting thing about the pottery is that you can lose yourself in the creative process. You, when you're making pottery, have to let go of any outside stresses so that your hands and body can stay steady. You can feel or see the tension or the joy in any piece. And I like to let all the joy come out in the pieces that I make. And I like to see what the clay tells me it wants to be that day, rather than to try to force something that it doesn't want to be. You can let go of a lot of world stress while you're focusing on being creative. I started taking my pottery to some art fairs, and I've enjoyed seeing the people, and I enjoy seeing these pieces go to another household where they'll be enjoyed. So the pottery, or at least some of the pottery, currently is listed on our website, which is painthorsepottery.art. I also sometimes will post things on my Facebook, which is also Paint Horse Pottery, or on Instagram, which is also Paint Horse Pottery. But we also go to a few art fairs, and I'm working on getting those set up so that I can post them. So the next art fair is at the Mount Horeb Art Fair, July 19th and 20th. Every piece is dishwasher safe and microwave safe. I do take requests, and like when we do the requests, I try to work with somebody about approximate shape and size and approximate colors, but nothing is ever guaranteed. But I try to make enough different pieces so that person can choose which ones are their favorites, and then they just take the rest of them to sell at their fairs.